Annabel, is the government's position on Andrew Laming going to be sustainable in coming weeks?
Not if he keeps on going on radio, it's not going to be. It's interesting that in today's reshuffle there hasn't been a minister appointed for keeping Andrew Laming off the airwaves. It probably would have been a wise move. Look, one of the interesting elements of today's restructure is that one of Christian Porter's really significant roles, and to be honest, he probably had too many jobs up until now, is that his job as the leader of the government in the House has been given to Peter Dutton. So you've got a new manager of government business in the House, which is a really key job. It's kind of making sure the legislation gets through, dealing with the opposition and so on, is now being held by a new and fairly combustible sort of operator in the situation where the government holds power by one vote, and that vote belongs to Andrew Laming.
And some of his colleagues have spoken about not feeling safe with him in the party. What can you tell us about that today? There was plenty happening.
Yeah, I think his presence is hugely divisive. It makes it really uncomfortable for coalition women. We had two coalition backbenchers telling insiders yesterday that they weren't comfortable with him being in the party room. We have direct lived experience of what happens when you've got a disgraced backbencher forming the final number for a government whose numbers are very, very tight. I think that Andrew Laming will continue to be the focus of attention when Parliament's sitting. So I can't see this really finishing up very easily.
Now, you mentioned the restructure. How effectively is it positioning itself, the government, to make women safer and feel safer in the Australian community? That's inside and outside Parliament.
Well, there's a lot of new business cards and a lot of them have the word women on them. It's got a sort of, look, one tries not to be uncharitable about these things, but it certainly has a slight spray job feel about it, a respray of the cabinet. Everybody's got new jobs about women. Look, it's a welcome recognition that there are a whole suite of portfolio areas that are relevant to women. So you've got the Minister for Women, Maurice Payne, who was dubbed today by the Prime Minister as the Prime Minister for Women. He later walked back that slightly confusing language a little bit. But there's, you know, a Minister for Women's Economic Security, there's a Minister for Women's Safety. Scott Morrison has always had a high number of women in his cabinet, right? But the perception has been that they are quiet or that they haven't always had the influence. So in some ways, I think the most impressive decision that he made today was to take Karen Andrews, who really was the most outspoken of the women in the cabinet, and elevated her to a new position. I think that sends a strong signal, because what the Prime Minister needs around him now is a coterie of women who will not shut up. And so that appointment, I think, of Karen Andrews to Home Affairs is a really significant one. But look, the only true test of this reshuffle is going to come with the budget, because last year's budget was an obviously and uncomfortably blokey affair. It was really clear that women hadn't had a particularly strong role in drafting that document. So however many new committees that you have or new business cards that you have for women ministers, the proof of this pudding is going to be in the budget.
Annabel Crabb, thank you.
Pleasure.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.